Hey guys, I'm not exactly sure what inspired me to go about doing this, but recently I had the idea to maybe put record a video of me doing like my basic makeup look, just kind of how I go about it, to see if maybe it could be beneficial to anybody else. I am going to forewarn you that this does have a lot of steps that some people might feel are unnecessary or a little too much, but this is just how I personally do my makeup. I'm not going to say that it's going to work for you because everybody's face is different, our skin is different, but this is kind of like the tried and true for a makeup look that always makes me feel pretty, looks pretty natural in like the I have a full face of makeup natural sort of way. But I am gonna like show you all of the products, me applying them, and everything of that sort. I did just get out of the shower here a little bit ago, so my hair, I kind of like, I put all the products in it and I let it blow dry just a little bit, but I have a lot of hair and it's summertime, so blow drying, I get really hot really fast and really bored even faster. So it's kind of like doing its own natural thing right now, and then I guess I'll deal with it later. Usually if I were to actually be going somewhere, I would do my hair first, and then like if I curled it, I'll just like let it set in the curls, and then when I'm done with my makeup or when I'm about to like put on my lipstick or whatever, I go and I brush it and then I finish styling my hair. So that's kind of like my method of everything. I usually curl my hair, do my makeup, and then brush it out and put on my clothes basically. But after my shower, like in the process of like doing all of my hair products and stuff, I also put like the products I usually put on my skin. And this is like an e.l.f. serum. Everything, I don't know, I don't think it's actually focusing. Well, that's annoying. I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's like focusing on my face. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Okay, I paused it for a second, and then I think I kind of figured out how I need to go about doing this. But, so this is a serum. I put this on first. It is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Triple Bounce Serum, and I just put that all over my face. And then I also have, I really love the e.l.f. Holy Hydration skin line. But this is the eye cream. I just put this under my eyes. And then I also have the just the face cream, and I put that all over the rest of my face. And I put chapstick on, so I kind of like, that's how I prep my skin. And then usually I do that like before I do my hair, so it's kind of like soaking into my face, like while my hair is also soaking up everything. So like I said, this is going to be a whole lot of steps, but this is just how I do everything. So my first actual step on my makeup, generally, I have been really into kind of like a glowy sort of thing, which kind of seems kind of silly because I put this on first, but then I cover it up with stuff. So I'm not sure if like the actual glow really shows through it. But once again, I'm gonna try not to say this anymore, but this is just what I do. Like, it honestly, some of the steps I do for myself might not even be necessary, but this is just how I like to go about doing it, and it's worked well enough to continue. So this, once again, is an e.l.f. product. It is Sun Touchable Whoa Glow. And then the shade, because I think there's like different types. This one's called Sunbeam, but it has like SPF in it. And then it like, sometimes I wear this when I don't really want to like wear anything else, but I don't just want my natural skin. I just apply that to the back of my hand. Sometimes these like don't squirt and then they squirt out a lot, like that. So I'm just going to kind of rub that in on my hand and then start applying it to my face. And it really just gave me a lot. That's okay. But I'm just rubbing this all into my skin. Getting the sides of my nose. I also bring it down. But like, I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera, but it does just kind of give you like a nice, like shimmery, refreshed, glowy look, and I do really like that. Like I said, sometimes I will just wear this and then I'll kind of like go in and like spot conceal on like my blemishes. But now we're actually going to get into like the actual like makeup application. I used to always use a primer, like back, you know, a few years ago when I was like really heavy into it, but I guess I kind of use that as a primer. It does actually say it is a makeup primer, so I guess that is my makeup primer. But my next step, I'm going to be using a lot of e.l.f. products because they're all really affordable. You can find them basically anywhere, like at Walmart, Dollar General, literally everywhere I think sells e.l.f. and the price point is really low. But this is the Hydrating Camo Concealer. I'm going to be putting this because I have like a lot of blemishes like under my chin due to like a hormonal sort of issue, and it is like a really big insecurity for me, so I always make sure that that's covered up because I don't really want that to be noticed. But this is the shade Light Peach, and I also just kind of like spot conceal with this as well, and then I'm actually gonna go in and cover it up. Oh, I got that in my hair. Cover it up with foundation as well. But concealer, this has really good coverage, and I think honestly these concealers are only like $7 a piece. So I personally, I don't mind using quite a bit of it because when I run out I can afford to go get another probably. But all of my makeup brushes are going to be really dirty because I haven't taken the time to clean them in a long time, which I do recommend. But at the I have a lot, and I don't like to just do a portion of them at a time. So like I procrastinate, and then like to wash all of my sponges and everything at one time can honestly take hours, and that's just, I don't want to. So yeah, everything's gonna be a little bit dirty because I basically use the same ones often. But we're just going to take this, and I do it in kind of like a dabbing manner. I used to always get my sponges wet and like kind of wring out the moisture before I did my makeup, but then like that's just really an extra step. Like I do that like when I'm just sitting here playing makeup or whatever, and it doesn't matter how long it's really taking me, but I don't do that on like the basic day anymore. But I am just trying to like blend that in as much as I can, because we don't want to have like, you know, a line of demarcation or whatever. Now I'm going to actually go in with my foundation. This is my favorite foundation, and once again it is an e.l.f. product, but they actually don't sell this anymore. This is the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation, This is the one that I have found that works the literal best with my skin, because I sweat on my face a lot. And where I primarily sweat is like right above my lip. And when I have makeup there, it'll just kind of like start piecing away. Like I've had some literal horror stories. But with this one, it actually like, it doesn't slide off of my face. Like if I am going out or whatever, like have a long day ahead, sometimes I'll actually powder that section of my face, take that off, and then put this on and then powder over it. And that in the past, it's kind of like, it's helped like kind of let that stay there, but I've kind of lived and learned and how I need to go about protecting that section of my face, because it's kind of embarrassing when I spend a whole lot of time and then it starts sectioning away like right here in the middle. And especially since I do like to wear lipstick a lot, like that can be a focal point, and that's not cute. So a lot of times during the summer, I don't actually do a full face like this, but sometimes I will, just like depending on the event, and then I'll just be like extra careful to not touch that area, or like if I do sweat or whatever, I'll just like lightly dab it and try not to actually touch the makeup. Like I said, lots of living, lots of learning, lots of mistakes being made, and these are just what I have learned has worked for me and my skin throughout the years. But this is the Acne Fighting Foundation in the shade Porcelain. Like I said, they don't actually sell this anymore. But here a while back, they used to go through on e.l.f. They haven't done it in a while, which kind of sucks, because I'm like a person that likes to like stock up on the stuff that I really enjoy. And they used to like, I'm putting this on the back of my hand. They used to sell this during sales for like $2.99. And I would get like so many bottles of it or whatever. And I would have gotten so many more if I had known that they were going to just completely stop producing it. Because now all I have is what I have left from the last time I stocked up, because it's literally nowhere to be found. That they don't make it anymore. And I haven't found an actual foundation that works as well with my skin. I like the Fenty Beauty one by Rihanna, but it's also like, if we were to do the math of it in comparison to $2.99, it's like literally, I don't know. We're not going to do the math. It's a lot more expensive. It's like $35 for a bottle. But I am just dabbing this into all of my entire face, except for under my eyes, because we are going to put some concealer there. I am doing it on my eyelids. And I do have it like all up in my eyebrow right now, but we will fix that. That's part of the process. So now I'm going to do my concealer under my eye. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. one again, but this is going to be in light ivory. And we're gonna kind of like go like in more of a triangle-y shape. I don't know like what people know and what they don't know. So if it sounds like I'm like mansplaining on how to do makeup stuff, I apologize. But I've learned that me watching hours and hours of YouTube videos back like, oh my god, a long time ago, like 10, 12 years ago, I learned a lot of stuff, and you know, not everybody was spending hours on YouTube watching makeup videos. So the things that I learned at that time, you might not know. But I am dabbing the concealer in the placement that I had it. And this is also an e.l.f. sponge. This other one, also an e.l.f. sponge. But I'm not gonna set everything yet because I am gonna put on some cream blush, and I don't want to do like powder and then a cream on top of it, because it can or at least for me it gets like really piecey. And I just started using like cream blushes. There's a few different options, but I got one of these at Ulta one time. It was on like super mega clearance. I think it was like 90% off or something, and I got it for like, I don't know, $1 or something. But it's the Undone Beauty. It says it's a lip to cheek palette, but I got them. I really decided that I like them. They stopped selling them in stores, but they do have them on Ulta. And here at some point in time they had a sale on them, because I do watch every once in a while, not as much as I used to because I've accumulated a lot. It's probably all expired, but it only goes on my face now, so like I don't care. But they have like all different sorts of colors, and I'm the type of person that I like to have options. This is probably, okay, so it says it was $14 and then it was 90% off of that. So these ones that I got on sale, they were like literally like $1.20 and $1.40. And now like on the website they're like, I don't know, $15 a piece if you buy them regular. But they're really good. I really like them. e.l.f. also makes some like liquid blushes. They come in like these little things. They look kind of like a lip gloss, but you just put it on, dab it in sort of thing. I have several of these. They are really pretty. But we are going to be using this one, and the shade is called Dahlia. But it's kind of like, I don't know, this is the color. This is what it's kind of like. So how I like to do this on myself, I'm going to take another e.l.f. sponge. Please, I swear, just don't, just act like they're not as dirty as they are, because they are really disgusting and that's embarrassing, but I just don't want to. So we're going to be dabbing, and I think like initially this is like 3 different like opaque levels or whatever. I'm pretty sure like the top one is more of like a thinner sort of formula, so like if you were to just tap into that, it wouldn't give you as much color as the bottom. But I think there is supposed to be like 3 different levels. What I do is I just tap in the middle. So we're just tapping around, and then I personally like to, if you see my lip, yeah, it's already starting to like piece, but once I powder it, it shouldn't be nearly as bad. But it's summer and I'm warm, and this is just how my face works. So we have it on the sponge. I'm going to do this silly smile to where it shows me where the apples of my cheeks are, and I personally like to go from the apples and then upwards towards my hairline. I feel like when I was first learning, that's kind of like how you're supposed to do it for like a round face, and that's just how I like it. There are like a lot of different blush placements for different face shapes, or like different sort of aesthetics, or you know, literally anything. If it's something that you want to learn, you can always kind of look into it, because it can completely change the way your face looks or like how your makeup appears. But my typical manner is to smile, do the apples, and then I'm gonna look absolutely crazy for a second, like a literal clown. You'll see it, and then I will blend it out, and then we'll kind of go from there. But I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. But like I said, I like to go from the apples up to my hairline, and I do just be sitting like this for a little bit. And now we're gonna take the other side of the sponge and we are going to dab and kind of blend this into the skin. Just a lot of just like lightly bouncing the sponge off of your face, and it's going to like widen that line a little bit, but it's also going to like blend the color into your foundation. Then we're gonna do the other side. Yeah, so my foundation is really kind of piecing away in all different sorts of spots. So we're gonna try to see if we can kind of fix that. And then I'm gonna set everything with powder. And my face has to be set with powder. Like sometimes I try to like just not do it. And like even my my eyelids will get so oily sometimes that it'll like go into like the creases of my eyes, and then my eyes will burn. So like if I'm going to be like out and have any sort of makeup on, I have to sit with powder or my entire world falls apart. So I'm going to dab over these little sections that I've been sweating a little bit, and then we're gonna try to cover it with powder. It might work, it might not. We're going to find out, because it really is on a day-to-day basis on whether this feels like cooperating. And I am just using that sponge that I just previously applied this stuff with, so it is still like in the sponge and able to be used. And that worked. And we're good. And I have this cool little wrinkle like right in the center of my forehead. I usually like to kind of like pull up on my skin and get into that wrinkle, and then I'm going to like set my face doing the same thing so the powder like gets into that crease. But I'm gonna show you the powder that I personally like to use literally always, like I swear by it. I have in my drawer, I have a container of it that's actually open, so it isn't as fragrant as when you first open it, but it is the Airspun powder. Coty Airspun loose face powder. I use the translucent coverage, or this one's like the translucent extra coverage. But I do, like I said, I just have an open container in here and I just shut the drawer, so it's not like, you know, like anything really gets in it. But that is what I'm using, and I'm going to put this literally all over my face, down there on my eyelids, and then I'm gonna brush it away. I'm gonna look, once again, absolutely really crazy, but this is how I do it every time if I'm actually planning on doing my makeup. So we're gonna put this on. I'm going to be applying this with a different sort of e.l.f. sponge. This is similar to the Real Techniques orange sponges, same shape. I think I personally like the e.l.f. ones better, but the Real Techniques are what I started with, and they're also really good. But this is my face powder sponge, so it looks like I've been using it in face powder. But I'm going to start with these places that I need to start with. Because the more I talk, the more everything falls apart. So I need to really just do. We're going to that heat, covering everything. My sister's calling, hold on. Okay, Fred just called, so I had to make sure she wasn't having a crisis. I kind of look like I'm having a crisis, but we're gonna just continue on from where we have been. Still just powdering, bouncing the powder, and I'm going to be using a lot of powder because I want to make sure that everything is completely covered. But I'm putting this all over my face. Gonna close my eyes and do it on my eyelids. Going all the way up to my eyebrow. I'm going to pull my wrinkle back and powder over top of that, so the powder like gets in to that wrinkled area and it doesn't like crease nearly as badly, I've noticed. But yeah, literally all over the face, over the concealer, under my under eyes, and then this is what we look like now. So now I'm going to go in and take off all of this excess face powder. And I'm just going to be using a brush. This isn't the brush that I normally use, but I kind of move stuff around, so I'm not sure. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is just like a big fluffy, this is actually a Wet n Wild brush that I got on sale like before COVID even happened. There was like a huge set. They were like around Christmas time, I don't know, but they're really good brushes. I really like Wet n Wild too. But I'm just gonna dust my face. This is why I don't put on my clothes until after I'm done with my makeup, because depending on what shirt I'm wearing, powder could get on it. Like if I'm wearing black, then everything's ruined basically. But we're just taking off all of that excess powder. And you can still see the cream blush underneath, but it's not as heavy. And that's like one of the things where I was saying like some of these steps might not be necessary, but it's just how I do it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to layer on top of the cream blush. Actually, that's wrong. That's not what I do next. What we're gonna do, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I like to do, and I do everything in like layers upon layers upon layers. Okay, so I'm going to take, this is a Wet n Wild item that is no longer available as well. It's one of my absolute favorites. It is the bronzer, but it's in Reserve Your Cabana, and it just kind of has like a nice, it's like a really pale color, but I like to place it underneath my under eyes, kind of like over my concealer. But I'm going to be taking this Real Techniques soft accent brush, which kind of like is shaped like this, and I'm just going to place it over that concealered area. And I don't always do this step. This is more so like if I want to put in that extra effort, because I do like how it does appear. It kind of like brightens up that part, but it just kind of depends on my time and whether or not I want to do it. Now what we're gonna do, this is actually available. This is the Essence Pure Nude, but it is the Sunlighter instead of the highlighter. So it kind of, it's like a more deeper tone. We are going to be using the highlighter in a second as well, because it's one of my literal favorite things. But during the summertime, at the very least, This kind of has like a shimmery skin sort of feel to it. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it all over our face. I'm going to use this Real Techniques brush. It doesn't actually tell me what kind of brush it is because I've had it for so long and I cannot find this exact brush anywhere. I don't know if they just don't make it. It's been through a lot. I would love to have a secondary one because it is my absolute favorite all over face brush. But we are going to be just putting this all over our face. And I'm looking at myself like in the mirror from the camera because I have like, I don't have it in like selfie. I have it in like a reflection because I got a tripod. So I don't know. I might need to work on that. It might be kind of disturbing with me not making eye contact. I don't know. I'm new at this. I don't know if I'm even going to do anything after this, but this is the basic anyway. So we're just putting it all over our face. Over the blush, over the foundation, over all of the stuff. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the Pure Nude highlighter, which is just kind of just a lighter version. The Sunlighter, which is this one, it has more of like a bronzy gold, whereas this is more like I don't know, not that. I'm going to be putting this on with a Real Techniques setting brush, but we are going to be applying the highlighter as a highlighter. I'm going to put it on the top of my cheekbone area. I like to go down my nose, and then we're going to put it on this side as well. Depending on what sort of look I'm doing and what I want my focus on, sometimes I'll put it on the top of my lips. I'm not going to necessarily do that today. We're not gonna blend that out because I'm going to put on a couple more layers of blush, and then at the end we'll go in and we'll layer everything. But this is a ColourPop blush. I love their blushes. This one is Whole 9 Yards is the shade. I doubt it's available, to be honest, because a lot of their stuff will sell it for just a little bit amount of time, and then if it's not like a bestseller, then it just isn't there. And I probably got this on sale, honestly. But we're just gonna put that over our already dictated placement of blush. I am just brushing it on. This is a Wet n Wild brush. You can find these at Walmart, maybe Dollar General. They used to have them at Dollar General. I think I actually got these at the Dollar Tree, but I love these. This is like, I think the actual, it is the blush brush. I have numerous of this exact brush because I love them. But I'm just putting that over what I already have. Then I'm gonna go in, this is like super old, but it is the NARS blush in the shade Orgasm. I need to get a new one of these, and I love blush. I want to try out maybe more of them, but I have a hard time spending a lot of money on high-end products when I have so much makeup already, and I have a bunch of stuff that I already love. But this is like a cult favorite, I think. The only reason why I got it was because I probably heard numerous makeup artists back in the day talk about it, but it is very pretty. So we're going to put that over the other 2 layers of blush. Just has a nice shimmery glow to it. Okay, now I'm gonna go and I'm going to take, this is a Morphe brush. It's pretty dense. I think some people possibly use this. I don't like applying foundation with a brush, but I think this is maybe what that's for. I really don't know. I just use this as like blending all of my stuff together, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it in like circular motions, mainly focusing on this blush area. I am gonna take the blush upwards as well, because now it's gonna kind of like bring it up that part of my face. We're gonna do the same on the other side. bring that up. Gonna make sure we blend the bottom area as well. And then I am just gonna kind of like just go around my entire face with the brush, because this helps like blend. And also my sister's dog like kind of scratched me earlier. It isn't actually like a scratch, but the marks are still there. It hurt, but this is kind of annoying. Okay, so now we have our basic look. Sometimes, just depending on like my vibes, sometimes I will put like kind of like a bronzer sort of stuff like over top, or like a sun-kissed idea. I am gonna do that here just a little bit. I think this is probably still available because it is Essence. It's called Kissed by the Light Illuminating Powder. I went through so many bronzers in my life that I fall in love with, and then I stop making them, and I have some of them still in my drawer, but I try to use them sparingly because amazing. But I am going to just kind of put this over part of my blush area and kind of bring it up onto the sides of my forehead as well. And this is also a Wet n Wild brush. I use this for like my bronzers, like not like my like sculpting bronzers, you know, like for, what's that even called anymore? What's that called? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. But like not the ones, like I use this with my stuff that's like kind of like shimmery, like the glowy bronzers. But I'm gonna just put that up and then around the perimeter of my face. What is contouring? That's what I was talking about. I don't use this for like contouring. I use like a skinnier brush for like that sort of idea. Same sort of shape, but skinnier. And then I go in with like this is for like the shimmery ones. Or sometimes I use this one a lot. This is Eco Tools. It's also one of my favorite brushes, and I've had this for a really long time, and it's one that I can't find this exact one again either. But we are just going kind of around the perimeter, over the blush, kind of give it more of like I don't know, this appearance. Okay, now I'm going to show you I don't think I'm going to go in with like the liquid eyeshadow that I do sometimes. I'm just gonna actually just show you my most basic eye look. Sometimes I do use like a liquid underneath it, but I just really don't want to go into that. But this is my favorite one. This is Halsey's brand. It's About Face. This is in the shade Cloned, but sometimes I'll put that just on my lid with like a flat brush, and then I will kind of blend it and then put powder over top of it. But this is such a pretty brown that I personally really like with my eye color. But my super go-to eye color or eye shadow is, I'm just dusting off my eye, I'm not putting anything on, but it is from the ColourPop That's Taupe palette, and it is the shade Python. I wish I could buy this like separately by itself, because I recently just bought this palette again solely because I wanted a refill of this because I was hitting pan on the other one. But it is my absolute favorite. So I'm just going to take like a more flatter dense brush. This is a Morphe. It says it's an M124, but it is just like a flat brush, and this is kind of what you want when you're like applying eyeshadows, because the denser it is, the better it like goes from the brush to your eye. And especially with like matte colors, I usually use an actual brush. With like shimmer shades, I will often just like apply them with my fingertip. But with this, I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna tap it. I'm gonna like go in and then I'm gonna tap off the excess, because I want to have the least amount of fallout on my face. But I will brush that off afterward if I need to. But I'm just gonna put this on my eyelid. And I'm literally just like tapping it all over. I used to really like go in and do like numerous different sorts of colors, and like we would have, you know, like a lighter shade over here and then a darker shade, and then I would do the under eye. But after I just started getting busier with life and I didn't have the time, the energy, or the means to spend literal hours on just putting on my makeup to go somewhere, because now I'd rather just go somewhere. I kind of learned what I liked apart from that, and this is one of my favorites. But I'm taking this, I think this is a Morphe Jeffree Star brush. I don't actually support him. I never watched his shows or anything. Like, I think I've watched like 20 Jeffree Star videos ever. He's just, I don't know, he's not my vibe. He's people's, but I don't think he's a very nice person. But these, I think I got through Ulta because they were on sale, and it's a good brush. It's thicker than the other brush, is more fluffy, and it has like more of an angled shape to it. So I'm going to use this to kind of blend from the eyeshadow into my skin, and then I will actually take another brush to do a little bit more blending. But we are going to just start blending this color out so it doesn't have like as sharp of a line. You are going to lose a little bit of your eyeshadow, but that's okay because that's kind of the look I'm going for anyway. We're just going to do it on the other side. We're going to try to make there's like no sharp lines. Okay, now I'm going to brush away all of this like fallout with this brush. And I like to apply just like a white eyeshadow in the inner corner of my eyes. This is one of my favorite brands and favorite like type of eyeshadow palettes. I have a lot of them. I think she's come out with more, but I have so much stuff all the time, and I kind of just use the same stuff. Like, I like to have options, and then I bought all the options, and here we are. But this is the Blends palette by Blend Buddy Cosmetics, and this white, it's called Cream and Sugar, but it's literally just white, and it is so opaque that it's like, that's so hard to find. You can tell that that's like the only color I use in here. But I'm going to put it on with like, this is also a Jeffree Star brush. It's kind of like a domed shape, but I am just going to put this on my inner corner. I'm going to put it on the top and curve around to the bottom to just kind of like open it up. I have an eye stuff, sorry. Dude, that's inappropriate. No, no. But I just put that on the inner corner of the eye, and it kind of just brightens it up just a little bit. And honestly, that's basically what I do with my eyes. It's not super exciting anymore. Like, if I start making more videos, I might try to do some more in-depth, in-step sort of stuff. But as of right now, that's kind of like, this is literally just like my basic look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush through all of this like additional makeup stuff that's in my eyebrows. We're going to kind of brush through, and then we're going to take some micellar water on a Q-tip and go over them, because I don't want that look. I don't want it to have like the kind of hazy sort of idea. So I'm just taking it on a Q-tip. And going over top. We're gonna take the other end. Just wipe it away. I'm also going to take away this makeup that's on my lips. Okay, I'm gonna put some more chapstick on. Then I'm going to do my eyebrows. If you've known me for a while, you will know that I've went through lots of eras with my eyebrows. They used to be like one of the longest things that I did on my face. And now, as somebody in their 30s, I don't do that because I don't care. And I have naturally pretty decent eyebrows anyway. So I've just kind of learned to shape them and then kind of, I don't know, touch them up a little bit. But I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Wow Brow. I don't see the shade on it. I have another one in this drawer, but I can't find it. So this is an old one. It's probably like brunette or something. But I just kind of like brush that through. I don't really know if it like actually adds much of anything to my face. But now, before we do our mascara, I'm gonna go ahead and set my face because I don't like doing my mascara and then like if it's not completely dry. Yeah. Oh, hey, I found the other one. Hold on. Yeah, the shade's brunette. But if my mascara is not completely dry yet, then it can like smudge all over the place, and I'm not interested in that. So, probably as expected, we're going to be using an e.l.f. setting spray. I'm going to use a couple of different e.l.f. setting sprays, but this one I start with first. This is the Stay All Night. I don't know if I necessarily actually need to shake it, but I do. So, oh yeah, it says shake it, so that's why I do that. But I'm just gonna spray this. Okay. And I think that's supposed to be comparable to the Urban Decay All-Nighter Spray, which I also own. And it's a whole lot more expensive, but I like the e.l.f. one better. And this is like literally a full bottle. But the e.l.f. one works best with my skin. So I just stick with what I've proved to like better. Now I'm going to go over that, and for like more of like a glowy sort of dewy look, I'm going to put over that the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. We're gonna let this set. And this is when, if I had actually done my hair, this is when I would go and brush everything out while my face is drying. But since we didn't, we're just gonna hang out. But I don't know. I don't know if this is at all helpful to anybody or if it was just me sitting and talking to myself. But if you got anything from it, cool. If you want me to, I don't know, maybe do something again. Like I said, I'm not gonna be like someone that's really going out of their comfort zone in like terms of like my face makeup, because I just know what works for me. So the only thing that might actually differ is like if I were to start doing eye makeup again. But this is just the Believe Beauty. It's from Dollar General. Mascara. I don't know if they sell this anymore either because I got this on clearance. But I like the brush. I like my eyelashes better after I get them lifted, because otherwise they are just kind of going in all different sorts of directions all the time. And sometimes I do curl them, but then they just come uncurled. So is it actually worth my effort? I don't know. And this is, I'm gonna go over top because like I said, I'm all about layering. This is supposed to be, I think, a dupe for the They're Real brand, but I got this at Aldi. It's the Lacura They're Brilliant, and it has like the same sort of shape as the They're Real brush. I'm not the biggest fan of like getting like high-end mascaras, just because they dry out so fast, and I can get the same sort of look or idea, or I could always wear false eyelashes if I wanted to, at a completely lower price point. I am gonna go in my inner corner, and we're gonna add just a little bit of like a glowy white on top of that white that we already placed. And I'm gonna go in with my Jaclyn Hill palette. I also really love this one. I don't know if you can even buy it anymore because I don't ever look. But I had 2 of them, and I recently opened this one. But I'm gonna go in, well, I think in light, which is this one. I can never remember which one I like best. And when I'm wearing like a matte eyeshadow, I kind of like to have a shimmer in the inner corner, but I like to layer with the Blend Bunny underneath to kind of like give it that backdrop. But this is basically our finished look. I could put on some lipstick. We're just gonna pick one. These are my favorite sort of lipsticks. The only lip products that I really wear are ColourPop. This one's called Little League. Okay. And then I'm just gonna do one more thing and then I'm actually done. I'm just gonna go back over my face, over the setting sprays. With the sunlighter again. And then, there we go. And it's kind of like, it's a makeup look that, like I said, there are a lot of steps, but it doesn't look like you really tried that hard. It just looks really pretty. Like, and if you're like me, I obviously love lipstick, and this eyeshadow look, and just like having just like a, not like necessarily a neutral blush, but not like an overpowering sort of blush. It goes with any shade of lipstick. But that is how I normally do my makeup these days. Not anything crazy, 75 steps, but literally everything I use is basically affordable. The only thing that wasn't was like these palettes are a little bit more expensive, and then the super old Orgasm blush. But yeah, so that's basically how I do everything. If this was helpful to anybody, I'm glad. If you want to comment anything or yeah, whatever, I don't know. If I do more of these, hopefully I get better at what to talk about, or maybe I won't do anything. But there we go. So thanks for watching, if you watch.